What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel and some more Heavy Gear Blitz coverage here. So we've taken a look at some of these southern things that we've picked up over the last couple of videos here, and we also decided to go with the one of the two new two-player starters here for the 3rd edition rules. So this one is the War for Terra Nova box, which basically gives you sort of that classic North versus South matchup. There is another one out there which we will cover in a separate video once we get that picked up for you guys. But basically both more or less the same in the sense of providing each player a decent little starting force and a copy of the 3rd edition rules. So really awesome artwork on the cover here. And then if we take a look at the back of the box, just to show you guys what you get in here. So on the northern side and the southern side, basically more or less evenly matched forces, 12 and 12 models. So a grand total of 24, right? That's a heck of a lot here. And again, this is all that new wonderful plastic. So the north will get 4 hunters, the south will get 4 Jaegers, basically very standard gears on each side there. Then the north will have 4 Jaguars, and again, the south will have the famous or infamous Black Mamba. So again, both very elite gears there. On the heavier support side, fire support, you got 2 Grizzlies for the north and 2 Spitting Cobras for the south. And then finally the recon scout type gears, again, cheetahs on the north and iguanas on the south. Now again, it comes with the 3rd ed rulebook, small format, which is fantastic. Now, the only gripe here, and as it says here, also available for purchase. So, token pack is fine. That's something that certainly could be separate. Patches, not a big deal. The just general status token pack, again, also wonderful that that's separate. But one thing that would be like my main gripe with this, and it's not a big one, but DreamPod 9 does not include any decals in any of their starter boxes, and neither the 2-player ones. So those you do have to buy separately if you want to go the decal route. Now, it's nice, again, if you don't want to, you want freehand, you just want to not do decals or markings, cool. But when thinking of just all the other sort of games that are out there, typical 2-player starter, intro, beginner type boxes, usually they try to throw a fair bit of little goodies in there for you to get started with, and fortunately that is definitely the opposite here. So these are definitely very just bare bones boxes. You got your minis, you got your rules, you got bases, and then that's that. So if you do want any of these extras, you will have to buy them separately, so keep that in mind. Especially with shipping times and stuff like that, with COVID and all that still going on. So plan that accordingly when you are picking things up. But again, minor gripe, not the end of the world, certainly. So moving that aside, so we got a wonderful stack of plastic here, and we've got this kind of sorted out. So we've got the south over on the side here, and I guess we'll start there first. So if we can get this to focus. It's always a big question here. Oops. So a Jaeger here. And again, Jaeger and Hunter are basically not just really the same name, but basically essentially almost the same gear. And I think we might have to just move this a little bit aside. There we go. So again, wonderful job overall here with what they've done on the plastics. Very simple to assemble now. You get some alternate heads depending on what variants you want to go with, and some basic weapons here as well. Looks like we got some autocannons, bazooka action going on, so, and some rockets. So the standard hunter type weapons here. So, and again, we get 4 of those. So again, 4 of these Jaegers. Getting that out of the way here are scout gears. So again, the iguanas. And plenty of pieces there to make sort of the chatterbox version, ECM specialist, and all that fun stuff. So again, really neat stuff here on the options. And again, here moving on to the Black Mambas. So again, good stuff here. Oops. Yeah, definitely a fun gear to feel, very elite. And then the spitting Cobra here. As you can kind of see, so much of the sprue here is definitely dominated by all the possible weapons that this thing can bring to bear. So lots and lots of firepower. So then that is just a quick look at the south. Now the north, again, you'll see the familiar counterparts here. So taking a look at the Hunter. And again, just overall, such a great job done by DreamPod here on the new plastics. The Black Mamba equivalent here, so the iguana. And again, fantastic detail on the plastics. Now, we are then moving on to the heavy sport, so the Grizzly. Again, counterpart with the spitting Cobra. So heavy firepower here. Though no field gun or anything like we have with the heavy Cobra, but again, this thing still packs a punch. Grizzlies are still formidable. And then again, we get finally two of these cheetahs. So the northern scout gear here and recon and all that. Now, interestingly, that is what the box contents are supposed to have. Now, I don't know if I just got lucky here or if this was, not a typical mistake. Anybody else with the box, let me know. But we also, and again, it's not listed on the box contents here, but if we can get this to focus. So we got a sprue for the Kodiak in here, which, if I'm not mistaken, is essentially the northern version of, or northern counterpart, rather, to the King Cobra. So again, just even more fire support. And then also another gear here, a Ferret for the north. So another scout recon type gear here. So we ended up with basically two extra things for the north. And again, I don't think this was intentional. Certainly not listed on the box anywhere. But yeah, cool to have, I guess. So hopefully they included enough extra bases for it. And finally, last but not least, is the new version of the rules here. So 3rd edition. So fantastic stuff here. Definitely, again, just coming back to the game as we've mentioned some of the other videos we've done. So this, just after having read through a few times briefly, seems like they just, with this new edition, cleaned so many things up. It's very streamlined now. It's easier than ever to get into and still get to some of the more complex and in-depth features and mechanics that the rules present and let you sort of play out on the tabletop. So a lot of the things that at least when I first started trying to get into the game back in the 2nd edition just seemed very hard to figure out. Some of the more complex actions seem pretty straightforward now. So, and again, just overall very well cleaned up. Again, fairly thick book too. I like that all the sections here are color coded by faction. As you can see, appendix, weapons, traits, all that fun stuff. Intro. So rules, the rule section, this red section is actually not even that long, which is really cool. Now there's some parts on like force construction and everything, which technically we could say are part of the rules, but really if we wanted to break this down, so if we get it here, so basically rules start on page 16 and on 41. So not too bad, really, for as deep of a game as Heavy Gear has always been. And again, just so many fun things you can do with the combined arms that are in here. The fact that it's, again, pretty trimmed down, simplified, I should say, not simple, rather, but again, just the way it's written now, and I think the way it's explained, all the stuff in here, the rules are pretty well worded, pretty I guess they make sense, I should say. So some of the, I think when initially played again back in the older versions of the rules, just a lot of things seemed very complex and kind of hard to figure out. But everything now is very just again well worded, very well organized, and just the layout definitely has always or has never been better. So certainly lots of work I think went into just making an overall better game, and certainly there's that long-term passionate community for the game, and I think a lot of that work and effort over the beta rules and stuff like that, the development period, and then with their more recent Kickstarter and stuff, it definitely shows. So this is definitely a very, very polished game now. So then each of the factions are again broken down with a little bit of some stories at the start, typical forces. So they give you some typical basic army lists, going into then some of the actual gears and other things available, and all the variants and stuff like that. So you can definitely get a start with anything in any of the new starter boxes, the army boxes, and again, all that stuff is definitely very well priced now. So things like the Southern Army box, which we reviewed in a different video, that's clocking in at $60, I think, for something like 16 minis. It's just good stuff. So, and again, multiple factions with the plastics now. So you still have the full range of minis, and there's an expansion book already, which you can get also as a PDF or as a soft cover. So you got options there. But this is enough to get you started with the full set of rules, and again, the things that are available in the new plastic box sets. If you want the full unit list, then you do need to get the expansion book, but certainly this is enough to get people in the game, have some great and fantastic games, and explore a lot of tactical and strategic possibilities. So definitely an A+ on this. So great improvement over, I think, any of the previous editions. Now again, we're coming back to the game, so it's been a minute since we've really actually played. So that being said, though, again, just from scratching the surface, taking a glance through a couple times, and it just, again, everything seems just much, much better than it ever was. And again, part of the thing that is also drawing us back to that is just, again, all these wonderful new plastics. So again, back in the day, part of the Heavy Gear was kind of, the fact that pretty much everything was metal, with some resin here and there. But this is, I think, just a wonderful step. It makes it easy to get into for players. And again, Heavy Gear is definitely one that's kind of had its ups and downs as a game, and sort of IP and stuff over the years. So it's had its little spurts of popularity here and there, but this is definitely, again, a great time to check this game out. Kind of always flown under the radar, and especially with just the sheer variety and number of games and stuff that are out there now. So, but if you're looking for something great to try out, and easy game to, I think, get into now, but also just a very deep and satisfying experience, then check out Heavy Gear from DreamPod 9, again, Canadian company, dp9.com. We'll put the links and stuff in the description there for you guys. Check this out, and stay tuned for more content. We'll have plenty more coming here for Heavy Gear Blitz as we start getting forces together. Again, we're going to mainly focus on the South and some of its allied sub-factions and stuff like that, but who knows, we might pick up a little bit more. So, but we got a friend, I think, who's going to be starting the North here with us, so that's where all that stuff will go. And hey, they get a couple of extra gears apparently in this box. So hit us up in the comments, guys. Let us know your thoughts on the new edition. Have you ever heard of the game, or are you also just starting out or coming back to it? Let us know where you're at with that, and your overall thoughts again on the new edition, the new plastics, what else you'd like to see. Make sure you like and subscribe. We got plenty more coming, guys. Thanks so much for hanging out, and we will be back.